Tonight, we're also asking why to figure out what put people on the streets and what's keeping them there.
Our Brandon Thompson live in the studio. And Brandon, you looked at all the factors that come together as to why people are on the streets and why we can't seem to get them off the streets.
Yeah, and those factors seem to be accentuated by the pandemic. The solution depends on who you ask as well. Is it shelter, wraparound services, housing first? To understand which is the best course forward, we're looking back at what led Portland into the crisis where thousands of people do not have a home. Before Corday Rose ever started class in high school, he became homeless after his adopted mother kicked him and his siblings out of her home. He was couch surfing starting at the age of 12, trying to make class and stay out from sleeping on the streets.
Running out of a place, to not being able to find a place to stay was a big fear of mine. And then the night that actually happened, the first night that I ended up sleeping outside, I asked somebody, how do you survive sleeping outside? And they're like, meth.
Corday tried some that night, and his years-long battle with addiction began. A court-mandated treatment order put him into recovery. He feels like he was lucky.
If you're in a program, like a court program, a court-mandated program, it's not that hard to get into a treatment center.
So at those moments, that is where we need to have access to treatment and recovery services immediately.
Tony Vesna is in recovery from addiction that began with prescription drugs. He was first homeless at 15 years old. He is now the director of 4D Recovery, a center that focuses on peer recovery once people get out of a treatment center.
We don't have a system set up of services that is immediately responsive and can triage people and get them the help they need.
Scott Kerman has been with the Blanchet House for 3 years, starting just before the pandemic. His staff has quadrupled since he started in order to cope with the number of people homeless and the state in which they come to seek help.
The reason so many people are on the streets or living houseless is because of trauma in their lives.
Part of that trauma, Portland State professor Marisa Zapata says, is the fight to stay housed in an ever more expensive city.
We're having to play catch up from decades of lack of investment in affordable housing.
10 years ago, the median rent for the Portland metro area was $934 per month. It remained less than $1,000 until 2016, when the median rent surged by more than 32% to over $1,300. Rents continued to climb every year until this year and sit 69% more expensive than it did 10 years ago.
It's that combination of escalation in rents as well as it happening rapidly that become a particular issue when we're thinking about people who are going to lose their housing, people who are precariously housed.
Looking at the point-in-time counts for Multnomah County, there has been a 12% increase in the number of people counted in the survey since 2011, with over 5,200 people who are homeless counted in Multnomah County this January. But where those people are living tells a story unto itself. In 2011, there were nearly 2,000 people living in transitional housing. Earlier this year, the count found just 686 people in those homes, a 64% decrease from 10 years ago. Transition Projects Director Tony Bernal points to a lack of federal funding as one reason why.
We simply don't have the kinds of resources that we need to either build affordable housing or to operate it. The resources that we know work, such as Section 8, just not available like we need them to be.
As soon as COVID came about, it really exposed that precariousness of that safety net.
Keeping people living without a home, struggling to survive. As it relates to substance abuse, Tony Vesna with 4D Recovery is also the chair of the Alcohol and Drug Policy Commission. That commission made recommendations to Governor Kate Brown to expand substance abuse and treatment and collecting data on the issue. He and other people have told me that report was ignored, and the governor's office did get back to us in the last hour saying and pointing to investments made through the legislature, and you can read more about this on KOIN.com. Jeff?
Excellent report.